Last week, I said Arrow would only improve if this season got its own flair, its own personality, and really, in all reality, that's what the Recruits did for me, the second episode of season 5. This episode was phenomenal in a lot of ways. There were some parts that seemed a little bit like they were shoehorned in, but for the most part, this episode was definitely one of the best episodes of Arrow in a long time. So let's talk about the great parts of this episode. Well, I really liked how they had the whole conspiracy where Hammer Tech was actually uh, working with Church to get illegal arms deals, and we figure out that corruption, and we figure out that Thea is going to hire on Quentin Lance as a chief, one of the helpers for the mayoral office, which is great too. We have this very strong emotional scene with Thea and Quentin. But most of all, this episode was great because of the new team. The new team era was fantastic, and really, I loved Ragman. I think he was pretty cool for as far as metahumans are concerned. He was a pretty cool one, and I tied in the nuclear explosion, which was sort of ignored at the end of season 4, which was I never got. They kind of swept it on the rug. But basically, he's the sole survivor of Raven Rock, I believe, the place that got nuked by Damien Dark, and he got these metahuman abilities from this cloak his father gave him. So it'd be cool to see more into his backstory. His real name's Rory Regan, but I thought he was a cool character, and I think he'd be really developed into an awesome character. We didn't get much Evelyn Sharp. She's gonna become Artemis, but she was good for the role, I think. And I did like Wild Dog. His sort of attitude is kind of nice, and his sort of recklessness will probably play into this season pretty sweet. And of course, Curtis, we're going to see him turn into a vigilante, Mr. Terrific, and it's going to be cool to see him as he goes from being this techie, nerdy guy to this vigilante throughout the season, so it'll be cool to see that. And of course, Oliver's pushing them too hard. He's pushing them like they were in they pushed him in the Bratva, which was the complete wrong way to train these guys. So eventually he reveals himself to them, and it's they sort of trust him because they know he's Oliver Queen, the mayor. The thing is, the flashbacks are great this season because they contrast so much what's happening in the present, but at the same time they're tied in. Like the bell, they rang the bell that taught them teamwork, and then Oliver was ringing the bell in the present time to teach his new teamwork, and of course the Bratva killed everybody at the end except Oliver. Of course Oliver wouldn't have done that, but it was cool to see that sort of carry over, and I feel like the flashbacks are tying in actually really nicely with the past storyline. So I really did like this episode. It was probably one of the best episodes of Arrow in a long time, so I'd have to give it a 9.0 out of 10. The Recruits was simply fun to watch, and it was one of the best Arrow episodes in a long time. So I hope you've enjoyed this review. Remember to like and subscribe for more Arrow reviews and CW content. This has been Jonesy from Jonesy TV, signing off.